What do you want me to do?
Give it to Quincy. Have him check to see if there's anything on there we can get DNA from.
You don't need me for that.
If I do it, it'll become a thing. You know that. You're the reason for that.
Okay. There it is. See, I knew you was gonna do this. You wanna blame me.
But you reported me, John. Cost me my job.
Sugar, it's temporary. Believe me, I wasn't trying to get Massey to take your badge.
You knew something would happen. I got a 6-month suspension.
I thought they make you see a shrink. Look, I'm trying to help, man.
You want to help? Take that to Q.
For a chemistry read, it was one of those. It was so mellow, like so chill that I was like, this is a different energy. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this isn't the normal everything's ratcheted up. And like this is like, hey,
Yeah.
welcome in. So I thought, okay, this is a little different. And then same thing. As soon as I got the job, just the way Ben is as a person, um, you don't get that like that kind of like normalness and just straightforward kind of person all the time in Hollywood. You get sometimes people who don't have time for you or whatever, or they just like, here, do this. But Ben is like, he's like 100% present every time you talk to him.
I love it. Okay. And so then the show clicks, and all of a sudden, all these stories are going out about how big it is and people are watching. Were you kind of like, yeah, I knew it all along?
I I wish I was like that, because even with the feeling of thinking like, oh, this is going to be a little different, or this is going to be like an intro into a bigger universe or whatever it is. um you still know the industry, so you know how
Yeah.
fickle it can be, and there's all kinds of stuff going on, and so I don't, and also you never know how things are going to play right after an election, so
Right.
whether or not people are like, I don't want to watch anything about DC, or whatever. Who knows what they were thinking? So I didn't know like at all, and the fact that it did turn out the way it turned out, I was very, very happy that people enjoyed the work that we put in, because I know we put a lot of hard work into trying our
Yeah.
best to make it a very, very good product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you also shot it a while ago. The first season you guys shot a while ago, and then kind of had to
Yeah,
sit on it because of the strikes and all that stuff. That must have been
yeah,
torture for you because you want people to see it. I know I kept checking in with you, like, what is the show? But
yeah, right.
what was
Uh,
that hard for you?
it's a little rough, like you definitely like when I like so I got the job on November 1st, 2022. Like got a call from
2 years
Ben. It was
ago.
like, hey man, welcome aboard, the whole thing. Um,
Wow.
but it just aired 2 years later. You know what I mean? So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's one of those ones where you're like, man, you almost forget what you did. You're like, I know I did something here, and I think it was pretty damn good, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I noticed really from the first scene of the show is this friendship between Cross and Samson, and I bought it right from the get-go. Like it was just a well-crafted scene where you just got it right away. But the how did you and Aldis do that? Like, because you guys knew each other at all? Did you know each other even a
No,
little bit?
we'd had a couple mutual friends but not even like, really close friends, just people we knew each other. But like I said, from that chemistry read, it was from the minute I started reading with him, I knew I was like, okay, like I was comfortable. But then, in between the scenes, you make small talk or whatever, and the small talk wasn't fake filler stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was checking his phone or something uh about his daughter or something, and I just mentioned, I was like, oh, I'm a dad too, and I think from that moment we kind of had this mutual respect for each other, and since then it's always been that it's a mutual respect for him as an artist, as a person. Like I talk to him, I care about him, I make sure he's okay, and it's a real friendship, but it's a friendship, with a foundation of respect and trust. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard to fake something like that,
Yeah. My favorite line of yours in the show is when your character says, "Obstructing justice is one thing, obstructing me is something else," which I'm going to use in my everyday life because I think it needs to happen here in Bangkok. But I mean I love that line stood out to me. Did it stand out to you when like you first read the script and like because it's just a good badass line. I mean it is.
So, Jim Dunn and Sam Merce, they were two of the writers who actually became showrunners for the next season. They were always on set, so I could always bounce like if I had a question
Oh,
about a line or anything, I could always talk to them. But Sam and Jim, like they love what they do. They
yeah,
love their work. And so when they would have a cool line or something like that, they'd like be super excited to come over there. Yo, you know what you say in this one, right? You say like this happens, and then they tell me what I would say, and then I could be like, okay, I can tell they're excited about it. And that's like I've never had that on a set before where people go like, "Oh, I can't wait for you
yeah,
to like say this line." So it was I can just tell like when someone loves what they do and they give that to you, like you feel that, you get it.
yeah. And what about the line where Aldis as Cross says, "You smell like mothballs and Old Spice," which again that jumped out to me because I know your backstory.
Hey, it's not like that.
It's about to be like that. I know what it means when a woman invites you over to cook for you.
Nah, stop.
No, I ain't gonna stop. You
Stop.
need to start walking up them steps and put on some smell good.
Smell good.
Yeah.
What you know about smell good? You smell like mothballs and Old Spice.
He's quick. Like Alice is quick. So
Yeah,
we were doing the scene and they were Nzinga was cool. She let it run for a little while. So we were just kind of
yeah.
riffing on stuff and he just threw that one out. And I really, like I had a comeback, but it wasn't quick enough. So, so before the laughs started, whatever. It was so I was like, all right, you got me. Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Watching the show, it's a heavy show to watch. Like I realized it was hard to binge too many episodes because it's heavy and it's the serial killer stuff, which I also am fascinated by, and I love that this is a lot of pulled from real life serial killers. Is that a world that you're personally into? Like, do you like true crime and all that stuff?
I was never a true crime fan. Like I was never into it until I shot It Chapter 2.
Mm.
Um and hanging around with Bill Hader for 6 months or 5 months, however long it was. He's a big true crime fan. Like, he likes date
Ah,
stuff. So
okay.
he would just occasionally he would tell these stories about, oh yeah, I saw on Dateline one time or whatever. And so I just thought I was like, oh, let me get into this a little bit. Let me just see what this is all about. He told me this one story that just freaked me out one time about a woman who just happened to go out and get pizza with her son and came home and some guy saw her walking back and then in like home invasion story and I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this? So of course I had to like look it up to go, is this true and whatever, and yeah, it was true unfortunately, but that's where
Yeah,
I kind of get this like this stuff really happens, like, and you think
yeah,
that because if you can be a detective in real life and watch all these like true crime things, you think you can prevent it, if it ever were to happen to you in real life.
yeah, yeah. So we know Cross is coming back for season two.
Yes.
What are your hopes for it? Because I personally, this is because I know you, but I want more of Samson. Like I want to know more about his life. Like I want to go home with
Oh,
him and see more of
okay.
that because I feel like we didn't get enough of that in season one, but I get why. And is that
So
something that
without
we can hope for? Go ahead.
Well, Jim, without giving you too much, I think your finger is on the pulse. Let me let me put it like
Oh, okay.
that.
All right.
Because we've already shot season two,
That's
so
right.
it's in the can, it's done. I think that
Okay.
you were going to, yeah. Once again, your finger, like your keen eye to detail, has served you well because
All right.
you will get some more detail into Samson's life.
Okay. And there was a nice spark and a little connection with Alona's character, Kayla,
Yes,
in the
Kayla's an
first
interesting.
season.
Her character is an interesting character, and you're going to learn a lot more about her also in season two.
Yeah, it was funny. A friend of mine who watched the show before me, watched the season one across, said make sure to watch to the end because there's a little kind of tag and it's with her, and you kind of get a little sense of like, oh, there's she's got
Oh,
maybe her own agenda here, and so anyway, I
yeah,
love that stuff.
there's some stuff going on.
Okay,
Season two is going to be a lot different as far as storyline, and I think people are
okay,
going to be. I think if season one introduced you to the world of Aldis Hodge as Alex Cross, I think season two is going to give you a deeper insight or a deeper dive into that world.
I love it. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Let me ask you some just career stuff, which I love talking to actors. I love talking to you about all this stuff. But you've had a career of ups and downs. Like you've been busy at times, and then there's times you're just waiting. How do you sustain that for yourself and like keep yourself on as level of a track as you can in between jobs? Because that's what your career is. You never have a job that
I'm
just goes
literally
for, yeah, go ahead.
I'm literally sitting in the same room you and I had coffee in, and we had a similar conversation about this. We were talking about this actually, just career paths and whatnot. Um, but I think what for me, you got to find something else to do. You got to find something else
Yeah,
to get into. And then I think I told you I started an MFA program at UC Riverside Palm Desert. Um, and I'm in the midst of thick of that now. So, my thesis is to write a novel. So I'm really heavily entrenched in the world of novel writing, which is
yeah,
it's an amazing world. It's fun. You work muscles that you never worked before. You get to you get to look at things from a linear point of view as far as like dialogue and things. You really get down to
yeah,
like the word and what the meanings are. So like that's one thing I do. A lot of reading, but just I always find if you don't think about work, work happens. What are the three things you can do? You can not think about it and it happens. You can get hurt or something and then suddenly jobs pop up, or you can plan a vacation and boom, immediately you got work.
right. I love it. And what's the Old Spice world like for you now? Because I know you still were doing things last time we talked, but is that still a part of your life?
Yeah, I'm still a spokesperson for Old Spice until
Okay.
2027. So I'm still their global
Okay.
ambassador. It
Wow.
has been probably uh, one of the best, if not the best job I've ever had, because
Yeah.
it's so fun and just to be kind of, to kind of be considered an iconic brand ambassador, brand character that blows. I sometimes I look at Lisa and I'm just like, how in the hell did this happen? Like this, it still blows my mind. But yeah, like I'm continually doing things around the world for them. I
Amazing.
just approved something the other day that's going to go out in Spain.
Okay.
And I still do things here in the States. Whenever I do things here in the States, I can't really talk about
That's all
them.
right. Yeah, I get it. I get it. We'll have them send you to Bangkok. There's got to be Old Spice available here, I'm
I don't
guessing.
know. I don't I've never gone to Bangkok or that far east. I
Ah,
know Old Spice is out there. I just don't I've never been out there with it.
all right. I got you. And tell me, just career wise, when that all hit, like when you first started doing Old Spice, that's when people started knowing your face and everything. Did how much did that tie into the acting career kind of also taking off? Were they kind of on parallel tracks, or did one affect the other, or how did that happen?
Like yes, they one affected the other. Like it was a it like everything that I've done up until this from that moment from having that job until now can point right back to that job. It
Yeah,
wasn't if it wasn't for that job, I wouldn't have got the attention or the what is it oh man what the opportunity I should say
yeah.
that I didn't have when I was bartending at the Abbey and just going out on average auditions here and there you know
Wow. Who would you see at those auditions that are doing big things now, like yourself? Because I know
Oh,
I remember you telling me like,
LaMonica Garrett. Me and LaMonica. I mean, LaMonica's like my we're like two peas in a pod. Like him and I, our careers are very like parallel. They run together. So
yeah,
LaMonica would always be there. J.R. Lemon was there a lot. Occasionally I see Brian White.
uh,
One time I ran into like one audition I ran into two auditions. One audition I ran into Derek Luke. That kind of blew my mind. And then another one I ran into Malcolm Jamal Warner, and that threw me all off. I was like,
that's
I'm not.
fun.
I should just go home at this point because like I'm too blown away from meeting him.
Last question. So Cross season two hopefully won't be 2 years before we see season two. Hopefully it'll come next year sometime. But
Me too.
what's kind of the what's kind of your career thing that you want to make sure you do, whether it's a specific role or something you haven't done yet that is part of your plan?
Um, well, one, I want to finish writing this book and get that published. So that's probably
Yeah.
like outside of acting, that's the priority. Um, is that. But as far as like work and roles or things like that, I, I it's not so much the roles, it's people that I want to work with. Like that. I'm like,
Mm.
wow, I'd be cool to like work with. I saw at the SAG Award celebration they had a few days ago. I saw I'm a huge Rachel Harris fan. Because
Oh,
she's done so many different things and she's always spot on in everything she does. And also David Allen Greer. David
oh
Allen Greer.
yeah.
If I could work with him, I would be like a student, like like front row, just paying
Yeah.
attention because he is truly like legendary.
Yeah.
Just
Well, we're gonna
like
put out in
comedy
the
genius.
universe, put out in the universe that you get a guest spot on St. Dennis Medical. That's the
Oh man,
sitcom he's on
that
now.
would be
That
amazing.
that's doing really well and probably be around for a while. So let's get you a
I
guest
hope
spot. Let's put
so.
that. We'll
I
put
hope
that out there.
so. He deserves all the good things that come his way. He is absolutely amazing.
That's cool. Well, you also deserve every good thing. You're a good guy, and love chatting with you as always.
All
And congratulations.
anytime.